Today in Cannabis News, cannabis advocates in Ohio file a petition to the state legislature for a proposal that would require legislators to consider statewide cannabis legalization. A U.S. senator urges for the establishment of a national cannabis intoxication protocol for driving. And a U.S. representative advocates for President Joe Biden to utilize his executive authority to implement federal cannabis policy reform. It's Wednesday, December 22nd, and this is your Trichomes Morning Buzz.
Broadcasting live from the Trichomes.com studios in Southern California, it's time for your Morning Buzz. We bring you late-breaking news that keeps you up to date with what's happening in the cannabis industry.
First up, cannabis advocates in Ohio filed sufficient signatures to the state legislature this week for a proposal that would require legislators to consider the matter of statewide cannabis legalization. The Coalition to Regulate Marijuana Like Alcohol stated it submitted measures to the Secretary of State's office with over 200,000 signatures, over the needed number to push lawmakers to respond. This occurs only a few months following the state giving the group permission to start collecting signatures. Adults aged 21 years or older would be allowed to carry a maximum of 2.5 ounces of cannabis, as well as a maximum of 15 grams of cannabis extracts, under the proposal that lawmakers would be compelled to examine. Residents could cultivate a maximum of 6 plants for individual consumption, with a home limit of 12 plants. Lawmakers will have 4 months to approve, disapprove, or modify the bill if the petition is validated by state regulators. If legislators reject the proposal, campaigners will need to gather extra signatures to put the bill on the November 2022 election ballot.
Next up, Senator John Hickenlooper asserted in a U.S. Senate Commerce, Science, and Transportation Committee confirmation hearing for President Joe Biden's National Highway Traffic Safety Administration Director nominee that the existing guidelines for cannabis driving regulations in states throughout the country is unworkable, and implored the creation of a national cannabis intoxication protocol. Senator Hickenlooper mentioned that President Biden approved an infrastructure package that included a provision he sponsored, mandating federal regulators, such as the Department of Transportation, to research and provide a review on federal compliance hurdles pertaining to cannabis-related impaired driving investigations. Hickenlooper questioned nominee Stephen Cliff on if he'd focus on communicating with legislators to develop a federal marijuana impaired driving standard so that we can have something as a national standard. We first legalized recreational marijuana in Colorado, which I opposed in the beginning, Hickenlooper said. I thought there would be all kinds of increases in teenage driving, teenage consumption, frequency of use. We haven't seen any of that. But we do recognize that we don't have a good way to measure intoxication levels, he stated, citing a Colorado state statute in which an individual caught driving with over 5 nanograms of THC per milliliter of blood can be utilized as proof of intoxication. Activists have criticized that regulation, claiming that the criterion is capricious and imprecise as a predictor of intoxicated driving.
Last up, in the height of a fallout within the U.S. Democratic Party regarding Senator Joe Manchin's last-minute assertion that he will not support the widely supported Build Back Better spending bill, Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is advocating for President Joe Biden to utilize his executive authority to implement cannabis and other federal policy reforms. Biden needs to lean on his executive authority now. He has been delaying and underutilizing it so far, Representative Ocasio-Cortez wrote in a tweet this week. There is an enormous amount he can do on climate, student debt, immigration, cannabis, healthcare, and more. Time is running out. We need to move and use alternative paths. The tweet was in reply to one from HuffPost reporter Tara Golshan, in which Golshan stated that Senator Manchin said on West Virginia local radio that he knew from the beginning he wouldn't support BBB, but let Democrats negotiate, and that he got to his wit's end after staff, either White House or Senate, did something that angered him enough to just come out and say that he was never going to get to yes. When we suggested this months ago, people were outraged, accused us of insulting people's character, called us disruptive, etc., replied Ocasio-Cortez. Regarding federal cannabis policy, Ocasio-Cortez, who has submitted a bipartisan proposal to promote state cannabis expungements, has been condemnatory toward Biden. The only thing that marijuana, due to the failures of U.S. policy, is a gateway to is our mass incarceration system, she said back when referring to statements made by then presidential candidate Biden regarding what she called Reagan-era talking points.
That was today's Buzz. Thanks for listening. For more cannabis news and insights from industry professionals and a place to discuss these stories and others, visit trichomes.com.
And be sure to catch up with all of our other cannabis industry-related podcasts like Hash It Out, Tech and Cannabis, or the International Cannabis Conversation, wherever you get your podcasts. For trichomes.com, I'm RJ Balde.
And I'm Devin Liao. Have a great day.